Oh, it's good to have you here on the Damon Bruce Show, Monday, September 16th, the day after a loss to the Minnesota Vikings. What could go wrong? Felt like it did go wrong for the 49ers in Minnesota. A lot of anger, a lot of frustration in the fan base. Let me start with this. We haven't even hit week 3 yet. Okay? It's really not the time to be flushing a football season down the drain, because you lose to a pretty good Minnesota team in a building that is going to get harder for teams to play in. That's a legit building. And, we might have undersold the Vikings just a little bit. The Vikings aren't bad. They really aren't. They're not bad. And Sam Darnold, he's not bad. He's not bad. And that Justin Jefferson guy, he's pretty good too. It is great to have you here. It's a Damon Bruce Show brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. We are powered today by BetUS. My friends at the Dubliner hopefully had a great crowd and plenty of anger drinking at the end of that game yesterday. But that was a frustrating football game for all involved. It really, really was. And the 49ers did a lot of things that absolutely causes the entire day to move into the you deserve to lose pile. The 49ers deserved to lose that football game. They earned it, they asked for it, and they got it. There are 6 things that happen in that game that really can't happen. And if just half of them happen, chances are you're going to lose a game. If all 6 happen, you're in an awful lot of trouble. When you fail to execute on 4th and goal, on your way to being held to 17 points, it feels like you're asking for it. When you turn the ball over multiple times, you're asking for it. When you can't get off the field on 3rd down as a defense, you're asking for it. When you can't stay on the field because you're just 2 of 10 on 3rd down, you're absolutely asking for it. When you get a punt blocked, you are asking for it. That's 5 things. The 6th thing is don't give up 6 sacks. 49ers allowed Brock Purdy to be sacked yesterday 6 times. Now, you want to come in and say, well, Kyle should have rolled him out a little bit more, moved him around the pocket, making him less of a stationary target. Yeah, there's all sorts of Kyle coulda, shoulda, woulda. But probably none of them would have been more helpful to find the win column than, hey, guys, hold your blocks. Get some actual protection for your quarterback to make a decision, because he's got to really look at where he's putting this ball, because no one is getting wide open at any point in time in the game. Purdy was looking for tight window throws all day. And honestly, as unimpressive as he was, he still had a quarterback rating of 110 or better. He still threw for 300 yards. The 49ers still generated 24 first downs. They just didn't do an awful lot of it from 3rd down. 399 yards. You had Fred Warner play a pretty incredible game. You had Nick Bosa play a pretty damn good game. You had your tight end go out and give you what you would expect from a tight end. I mean, it wasn't a bad game for Kittle. It was a pretty good game out of Debo. The 49ers had this one. But the closer they got to reining it in, they would make a mistake that let out a little slack again that they wouldn't be able to make up. And this is why they're a really good front runner, and playing from behind is going to be something that they have to prove that they can do time and time again before you can just assume it's going to happen. It's hard to play catch up when you might not be as fast at the skill position as you wanted to be, as you hoped you were. And I don't know if the 49ers are as fast as they need to be at wide receiver, which, given the fact they have, almost $60 million a year invested in just 2 guys, it might not be a good thing when it's all said and done. It was a day where the 49ers left a lot to be desired on 3rd down, left an awful lot to be desired in terms of big players with big paychecks making a big impact. Brandon Ayuk was hard to find. Trent Williams had all the rust of the preseason that didn't happen show up in week 2. You didn't really see it in week 1, but it came into week 2. It was a rough day. It was again, I keep on going back to Steve Kerr, right? Continuity. They didn't have any connectivity. It felt like instead of everybody pulling on the rope in the same direction, that wasn't happening. It was a frustrating afternoon, and I know that there are frustrated 49er fans. And again, I just want to tell you, to fans who insist on panicking because it's a comfort spot for you, like you're actually most comfortable as a sports fan, if you're complaining about something at the top of your lungs, I get it, that element is out there for sure. You got to calm down just a little. 15 games remain. A lot of football still in this season. And, the first 4 weeks, I think, of all football seasons going forward, with preseason being diminished the way that it has, I just think you got to expect weird to happen in the month of September now in the NFL. Weird will happen. Don't believe me? Ask the Baltimore Ravens. A 9-point favorite over the Raiders, and they lose at home. This league is tough. It's a tough league. It really is. And I think that, before we reach the bold prediction moment of the year where you're finally ready to tell me definitively what you think is going to happen, let's wait till week 10 gets here. And even when week 10 does arrive, there's still 7 more weeks now after that. Football season is long. We have not been playing football very long into this season. And the truth is, you're not 0-2. And 0-2 is what gets scary. You don't want to be more than 0-2. You don't want to be 0-2, because if you're 0-2, you can be 0-3. And 0-3 is when things really start to feel like, it's going to be hard to dig out of this hole. But it's still not completely impossible. But the odds absolutely start working against you big time. Thank you for being here. It is great to have you here. Hit like and subscribe if you would, please. What a great little group of folks that we got. What an incredible chat that we have here. It is my kind of people all over the place. And I got to tell you, man, I just had one of the greatest football weekends of my life. I went to the Rose Bowl. I came home so happy. Indiana dominated at the Rose Bowl. The day was beautiful. It was fantastic. That stadium just drips in history and beauty, and the setting is just amazing. And then Indiana comes out and whoops that ass in a way I've never actually seen my football team play in my life. I came home with great food and great drink. By the way, shout out to Michelle Haberman. She said, go to this place called Der Wolf. And we went there for breakfast. It was fantastic. Thank you very much, Michelle, for the recommendation. Ate well, drank well, watched a really good football team that totally went the direction I wanted it to go in. It was an awesome little jaunt down to Southern California. I got on an airplane at 6 a.m. to fly home. For that? Come on, Niners. Got to be a little bit better than that. As always, we stop for super chats and say thank you. This is Iceman saying, as much as I dislike the Seahawks, they do have a knack for coming back and winning games. In fact, that's what they led the NFL in last year. We talking Seahawks? Seahawks are 2-0. They've gotten the start that they wanted for sure. By the way, the Rams turned into a little bit of a cause celeb pick to win the NFC West, and they're 0-2. So it's tough out there in these NFL streets. It is officially tough out there. What you need to get you through your day is a delicious sandwich. Thanks to all of you for being here to support me by hitting like and subscribing to the channel, hitting notify. But let me tell you, what I'd really love you to do is get yourself to Ike's today. Ike's has got the sandwich that you've been waiting for all week long, ready for you at his place. And there are so many places to go now. Ike's is more and more locations. Every single time I look up, download that app and start earning your way towards free sandwiches. And right now, Saturdays are your days at Ike's. Between now and October 5th, Ike is offering $3 off of every sandwich by using promo code SAT3. You can use that on the app. You can use that in person. It is unfortunately not available at the Santa Rosa, San Mateo, and Redwood City locations, but everywhere else You can use SAT3 on Saturdays between now and October 5th to save $3 off an Ike's sandwich on Saturdays. Don't just think about Ike's for lunch. Think about Ike's for dinner. It is fantastic, as is the Dubliner West Portal. I hope they had a great crowd in for the Niner game. First thing Sunday morning. Well, did they open? Or did you have to come in later? 10 a.m. is it's tough on bars from a start time. But look, I absolutely love the Dubliner West Portal. Get there for your primetime games. Get there for Sunday Night Football. Get in there and tell them that the Damon Bruce Show sent you, indeed. And if you want to go ahead and get that winning bet in, check out the sponsor of today's live stream. Check out BetUS, now offering 150% on the first 3 deposits up to $2K just by using the promo code YouTube150. Type in YouTube 150 and you will get 150% deposit match. First 3 deposits up to $2,000. BetUS. I had a yuck bet on this game that did not go through. I laid the 6. I thought the 49ers were going to handle their business. They did not handle their business. Oh, we now have the new business of G2 in the universe. You've become a member of the initiated. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel through a membership as well. It really means an awful lot to me, the family, the growing of the channel, which, by the way, I know you're interested in these things. You diehard plusers, you. I frickin' love you. The most watched 48 hours in the history of my channel happened over this weekend. So thank you. Our single greatest viewership day ever was Friday, and Saturday was pretty damn good for us too. So thank you so very much for watching. If you watch me on the live stream, seek out the shorts, seek out the videos. If you're watching videos and live streams, seek out the shorts, vice versa. Thank you so much for digging what we're doing over here. Look, there's just no argument to be made that the 49ers didn't deserve to lose that game. They did deserve to lose that game. There is certainly some anger that needs to be spread around, though. And I do think that the anger should be directed at special teams. As I said with Larry in the spicy wake-up that we had this morning, it is incredible how the San Francisco 49ers have turned the concept of a punt returner who doesn't make colossal mistakes or an effective kick returner into a Herculean task which they simply cannot complete. Every single team in the NFL pretty much handles just receiving punts and kickoffs with not a lot of drama. Most college football teams seem to have somebody back there who can handle punts without an awful lot of drama. Most high school football teams seem to have less special teams drama than the 49ers just drip with. The 49ers have way too much special teams drama, and I just don't know why it's the target that they cannot hit, the mountain that they cannot climb, the ocean that they cannot swim. I don't understand it. I do not understand. How simple is it to catch a punt and not fuck it up? I mean, if it happened once every other couple of years, that would seem normal. This happens way too often. And again, the blocked punt, no one is cloaked with glory on that. Wishnowsky watched a guy hop on a ball on all fours. All he had to do was bend over and touch him. Wishnowsky was sort of like, paralyzed in the moment, made business decisions. I don't know, but Wishnowsky, please feel free to touch the guy who's down on the field so the play's over right there. He doesn't get up and return it on you. Frustrating from a special team standpoint. Jair Brown's been caught flat-footed. Last week it was Alan Lazard. This week it was Justin Jefferson putting the boogie on him. I thought that it was a huge mistake for Nick Sorensen to play right into the matchup that Kevin O'Connell's looking for. Kevin O'Connell wants to see Odom on Jefferson. And he not only saw Odom on Jefferson, the over-the-top safety help didn't help. That is what Kevin O'Connell's looking for all day long. And it felt like the 49ers gave the worst matchup possible to the Vikings because, well, Sam Darnold's not going to throw a 97-yard touchdown right here. Well, it happened. It happened. Dr. Jazz Hands is in the room. I think we were outcoached. Purdy's also not taking what the defense gives him. Here's the thing. The defense didn't give him an awful lot because he didn't have open guys really anywhere. I saw 3 times Mason open in the flat. He didn't take it. He forced a lot of things. He was looking, look, he's playing from behind. He's making things go. Passing the flat wasn't going to be good enough in his mind, and he's looking for wide receivers who were not open. But I hear you. Yeah, you can't go broke taking a profit. I'm sure that there are a lot of decisions Purdy would have liked to have had back. I'm sure there were a lot of decisions across that offensive line some offensive linemen would have back. Again, you got your quarterback sacked 6 times. You should probably lose most football games in which your quarterback has been sacked 6 times. How are you supposed to get the job done when you're on your back? It's hard to do that. I didn't like the way that Kyle had a run Jordan Mason a little bit more written all over the game plan, but didn't do it. He brings in Garendo for one play. That play gets stuffed, and we don't see Garendo again. Like, what's the point? Why'd you even give that one play to Garendo if, it was going to be the complete referendum on whether or not he is going to play again in this game? You should have just given that ball to Jordan Mason. How is Garendo ahead of Patrick Taylor in this running back room? I don't get that. I didn't like the way that Kyle played the end of the game. Probably should have taken an earlier field goal in a 2-score game where you're looking to save some clock and you're out of timeouts and you need the 2-minute warning to be your friend. Maybe should have set up a universe where, depending on recovering a now declared officially onside kick, although, look, you basically declare an onside kick in the old school onside kick formation that we used to be used to. But that was not a good onside kick. The ball didn't even travel 10 yards, and that means you can't touch it. You did not onsides anything. So that was a wasted moment. And the play at the end of the game, not good. Again, block punts. You had the really stupid Purdy fumble. You had an offensive line just went from growing together in week 1 to rave reviews to shrinking together in week 2 to poor reviews. That felt a little disjointed and frustrating. Is that all on Kyle? Is that all on Brock? I know some people really want to just come out with knives for Kyle and Brock any single time they leave a crack in that door open. Well, plenty of cracks in the door were open this weekend, and there's plenty of criticism to go around. There really is. You lose all 3 phases of a football game, you deserve to lose a football game. By the way, when your quarterback throws for over 300 with a running back who goes for 100 and a wide receiver has over 100 yards, your offense does churn out 24 first downs. You have an all-world linebacker forcing 2 turnovers, creating 2 forced fumbles. When you have your all-world defensive end playing a good game, your all-world tight end playing a pretty good game, when you have Debo going for over 100 catching balls, like a lot of things happen that point to, I bet you the Niners won. But it didn't. Did not happen. So, a lot of frustration. What I can promise you is this. A lot of football left. An awful lot of football left. So, goofy loss in Minnesota. By the way, let's give the other team a little credit too. Vikings were pretty good. Sam Darnold's better than anyone wanted to give him credit towards being. That Justin Jefferson is a monster. But man, when he's not even out there in the second half, you would have expected the Vikings to have slowed down a little bit. They didn't. They didn't. Justin Jefferson, at one point, walks off that field third quarter with an injury. He doesn't come back, and the Vikings continued to pick up third down over and over again. Rockin' New Era 84. A frustration sensation. Yes, Tim Roy would absolutely describe the game that way. Sporticus. Look, man, team losses are also a real thing. That was a team loss. You put on the players, put on the coaching staff. You want to blame the pilot that landed the airplane? You go right ahead. You go right ahead. Got Philip saying a 12-year-old playing Madden is better clock management than Kyle Shanahan. You know what? You go ahead and put it on Shanahan. You want to? Go ahead. Was not a great day for Kyle Shanahan. We saw that. We know that. We're not pretending that it was. There's no reason to. Like and subscribe, my friends. Like and subscribe. We are going to be here with you at 11 o'clock each day this week. Wake-ups on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with yours truly and Larry Krueger. Got a couple of tricks up our sleeve this week, hopefully in terms of guests that are going to stop on by. We had a great conversation with Dave Lombardi last week. And, Dave pointed something out in this game that was, I thought, pretty significant. Third down is a money down. Third down's a money down, and the 49ers didn't make nearly enough money with their offense, and they gave way too much money away defensively on third down. The 49ers' third down conversion differential was minus 38%, meaning that they gave up third downs at a 58% clip, and they only converted third downs at a 20% clip. It was like when they were gonna score a touchdown, but didn't score on 4th and goal, and then just a few plays later, give up a 97-yard touchdown. In the back of my mind, I actually heard Bob Fitzgerald say, that's a 14-point swing. And it was. It was a 14-point swing. You do not score a touchdown, and you then immediately give up a bomb touchdown, probably going to be one of the largest touchdown plays of the entire NFL season. I agree with you here, Regular Ryan. The sky isn't falling. I mean, you got a bunch of Chicken Littles in this fan base who've been conditioned to just start panicking at the first sign of adversity. I mean, the NFL might not be for you. Vikings are just a little bit better than everyone thought. I think the 49ers are going to be fine. I hope so. Should have put more pressure on Darnold with blitzes, especially when Jefferson exited the game. Mark, I'll agree with you there. Just sitting back in your base defense on a day where you need to make something happen is probably the wrong way to go about it. I think that there's plenty of examples, too, of the Niners playing that level of defense, serving them well. But you got to do a little something when you're not in control of the game. As I said on Wake Up, man, the first sign of a bad day possibly coming is when the Niners go 3-and-out in their first possession. Like, Shanahan has always got a decent first possession usually dialed up. And, might not always be points, but it's a little progress. At least gives some decent field position. And the Niners went 3-and-out right away. It was a quick 3-and-out, as all 3-and-outs tend to be. So it was a frustrating day for sure. I grant you your anger, but I'm also going to tell you that Brock was 28 of 36 for 319 yards. He had a 101.3 passer rating. It's his 6th career game with 300 or more passing yards. Guy is in a group of historically significant players now who have had a quarterback rating of 100 or higher in 15 of his first 25 career starts. It's Patrick Mahomes, Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, Tony Romo, and Dak Prescott. You got Dak jokes today? Fine, tell him. He's the highest paid player in NFL history. You got Tony Romo jokes? Fine, tell him. He was a 4-time Pro Bowler. Carson Palmer might not be in the Hall of Fame, but he was in the Hall of pretty damn good. And had he been anywhere but a Cincinnati Bengal, he probably does better than he did. Kurt Warner is in the Hall of Fame, and Patrick Mahomes is going. Brock Purdy is in pretty good company. He's keeping great historical, significant company at the very beginning of his career. So to watch a game where he throws for 300 in Minnesota and you now want to just get rid of him? I mean, just come on. We got to be better than that. You got to be smarter than that. I mean, isn't the whole point? Isn't the whole point of watching, content creators and shows like this on YouTube about a better understanding? I'm telling you, panicking in week 2 is a fool's errand. Only a fool would go run that errand. 15 weeks of football. 60 quarters of football. A minimum. Bare minimum. 60 quarters of football for Trent Williams to play himself into game shape, for Brandon Ayuk to play himself into game shape, for Christian McCaffrey to hopefully eventually come back from the IR, rested, healthier, sprier than ever. There's a lot of football remaining. Here's a couple of things that happened yesterday that were fantastic. Really fantastic. Nick Bosa. Guy's got a magic number now. Nick Bosa's magic number is 12. You think he can get 12 more sacks on the year? If he does, if he gets 12 more sacks on the year, he will be the second leading sack artist in franchise history. He's 11 short of Charles Haley right now. So 12 more sacks would give him 14 on the year. That feels doable for Nick Bosa. 12 more sacks, and Nick Bosa is the second most sack in the quarterback player in franchise history. He will only be behind Bryant Young at that point. And he'll be still far behind Bryant Young. But he will have passed Charles Haley with 12 more career sacks. Fred Warner has 3 forced fumbles in his first 2 games. That's the most ever by a 49er player to start the season, and the 49ers have been playing football for 78 years. So Fred Warner is off to an awesome start. Bosa had himself a pretty good game. Those 2 guys are really important. Javon Hargrave, Malik Collins, Jordan Elliott. Going to need more out of you guys. Leonard Floyd, we talked about how all over Aaron Rodgers you were in week 1. Didn't hear your name in week 2, Leonard Floyd. Didn't hear your name in week 2. Diego Sanchez coming in with the super chat. Thank you, Diego. Seeing how we couldn't convert on 4th and goal from the 1, but allowed Sam Icy Ghost Darnold a 97-yard touchdown made me sick. On to Levi South, beat LA. Yeah, you got to turn the page and move on. Got to turn that page and move on. Here's the thing. Sam didn't see ghosts on that play. He saw safeties. Justin Jefferson, when he sees a safety, he thinks, hot supper. Justin Jefferson sees Odom lined up on him on the line of scrimmage, and then the over-the-top help was Jair Brown. And Justin Jefferson is going to win in that situation more often than he loses in it. I promise. Against everyone in this league. If you're trying to cover Justin Jefferson with a safety, you deserve the results of that play. And they aren't going to go in your direction very often. Shanny went a little too pass happy at first. Iceman 0072. I'd agree with you. You're going to want to go ahead and run the ball when you're popping runs like that. So very frustrating. We did hear Obey Banksy. Fred Warner's a damn animal. He deserves some credit. We give him credit. Game ball for Fred Warner. Game ball. Well, not that we hand out game balls after losses, but Fred Warner was good. Nick Bosa was good. Jordan Mason was good. And I'm pretty much going to cut the list off there because even though Brock Purdy was decent, sacked too much, 2 turnovers, the fumble out of nowhere, and just didn't get it done on 3rd down. His fault, not his fault, I don't care. You're the quarterback. It falls on you whether you want it to or not. And he knows that, and I'm sure that Brock Purdy would be the first to tell you he needs to be better. It can definitely get worse. Don't get your panties in a bunch. Dank, dank, good advice. Iron the panties. Do not get them in a bunch. Not yet. Not yet. We have Kenny Jones saying, F your fantasy team. CMC said it best. Yeah, look, here's the thing. Poker players will have a losing hand of poker, but they know they played the hand well, and so they don't regret it. They don't worry about it. They don't let it haunt them. If you had the top pick in your draft and you selected Christian McCaffrey, you drafted well. You made the right pick. Unfortunately, just not ready to play, but you made the right pick, and hopefully you'll get him later this year. But when it comes to your fantasy team or actual football being played, yeah, I don't care. No one cares. I don't care. No one cares, and you need to know that. True Blue, saying straight up, Darnold's winning the Super Bowl now. Look, I don't know about that, but I think a year around Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers made him better. J.J. McCarthy's injury opened up an opportunity that through 2 weeks, he doesn't look like he's going to be relinquishing anytime soon. Sam Darnold looked good. He did. He looked good. I'm not going to declare him a Pro Bowler. I'm not going to declare him the reclamation project that Baker Mayfield seems to be. We're not quite there yet, but we wanted to hold the New York Giants against Sam Darnold in week 1. It is more difficult to hold the 49ers against Sam Darnold in week 2 because the Niners got a reputation that they're better than that. But the Niners didn't play up to their reputation. They did not. We all know that. I know that. You know that. We know that. I wanted to be 2-0. That's what a lot of Niners fans today. Man, I wanted to be 2-0. I know you did. I know you did. But if going 2-0 were really easy, there would be more than 4 NFC teams right now who are 2-0. And of the 2-0 teams in the NFC, how many do you really think you're going to see in the postseason? The 2-0 teams in the NFC right now are the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Saints, and the Vikings. That's it. Now, the Eagles could join them in the 2-0 club tonight. They're home to the Atlanta Falcons on Monday Night Football. But there are only 9 2-0 teams in the entire NFL right now. There's 5 in the AFC: Bills, Steelers, Texans, Chargers, and Chiefs. 2-0 is great. 1-1 isn't awful. 0-2 is be ready to be nervous about next week's game because 0-3 really is a kiss of death. I think there's been 6 teams in the history of the Super Bowl era to start 0-3 and reach the postseason. So you don't want to be there. Do not want to be there. You know, who would have ever thought that the Rams, the Ravens, and the Bengals would all be 0-2? That's a group that everyone assumed was better than 0-2. Look at where they all are. Now, the Rams got dinged up. The Ravens, they lose one at home to the Raiders. By the way, Raiders, I see you. A big win, Raiders. Bengals did everything they could to make sure that everybody at Arrowhead, mostly the officials, hated them yesterday and were treated as such. You got Jamar Chase going up to officials and motherfucking them 3 inches away from their face. That's not going to help you when you are looking at a 4th and got to have it, and it looks like you had a 4th and just about to get it, and then that lake flag comes out, and Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt. The Chiefs were probably going to get the benefit of the doubt anyways. You have diva receivers starting to motherfuck officials. You're definitely going to get the benefit of the doubt to the Kansas City Chiefs. We all know that Patrick Mahomes and that franchise are the preferred child of the NFL. So don't make it easier for them to beat you. And the Cincinnati Bengals gave the Chiefs everything they wanted, but then at the end of the game, gave the game away to the Chiefs. And say what you want about Harrison Butker. Whatever he says that may or may not have offended you come football season, the only moving body part of Harrison Butker that matters come football season isn't his lips, it's his foot. And he struck that thing true. Absolutely struck that thing true. My complaint department is threefold. Brandon Ayuk has really sucked to start this year. I wonder why. Oh, never mind. We know why. Is it too late to go to BetUS and just start hammering unders on Brandon Ayuk? Season totals? Well, yeah, probably is. There's no longer season totals available now that the season's underway. But man, Brandon Ayuk has had 2 god-awful games. And we know why. It's because he wouldn't sign the damn deal that laid on his table for a month. He even admitted in his press conference he took it too far. And it has hurt the 49ers. Trent Williams, your holdout, Trent was good in week 1. In week 2, he was not. That is probably the worst game Trent Williams has played with the Niners. And if we're just, passing around the I expect more from you baton, eventually it gets to Mooney Ward. Javarius Ward might have played his worst game in a 49ers uniform. This guy's pretty much been awesome since he stepped on the field for the 49ers. He was not awesome yesterday. He got lost in communication sauce with guys that were either his coaches or his teammates. It wasn't good. Wasn't good. By the way, check out BetUS to hammer your unders on the Niners. If you just want to fade the entire year, they're not going to win another game, then put your money where your mouth is. And when you put your money into BetUS, you get 150% on your first 3 deposits for up to $2,000 just by using promo code YouTube150. Happy gaming. Do it responsibly, and do it on BetUS. When you get your sandwiches, go to Ike's. When you need a Guinness, you go to the Dubliner West portal. Love my sponsors. Love you too. Hit like and subscribe. Niners deserved to lose that game. They really did. They deserved to lose that game. Week 2 in the NFL gave us some pretty incredible moments. Week 2 in the NFL spit out some pretty interesting results. The Niners are among them. The Vikings are among them. But there's some stuff that is just pretty fascinating, and I need to tell you. Starting right now, if you're leaning into a rookie quarterback, you've had a rough go of it early on. We're going to begin with a stat about a rookie quarterback, and then we're going to wrap up this Week 2 summary with a stat about one rookie quarterback in Chicago. But if you're leaning into a rookie quarterback right now, you have been hurting for points. According to OptaStats, rookies have thrown a combined 196 passes through 2 weeks without a single touchdown pass. Without a single touchdown pass from this rookie class so far, it's the most consecutive pass attempts by rookies to begin a season in NFL history. That's not good. That's not good. How many times do Raiders fans get to really pump their fist and be happy? It feels like it's so rare. I don't want to rob it from them when it happens. And if you're a Raider fan, you are a fist-pumping happy Raider fan after going into Baltimore as a 9-point doggy dog and winning outright. Winning outright. Congratulations. It'll never feel right to say Las Vegas Raiders, but congratulations to the Las Vegas Raiders. By the way, NFL underdogs. You're going to need this when you're over on BetUS. Maybe you need this information. Or maybe you start fading this information. I don't know. But NFL underdogs of 6 points or more so far are 8-0 against the spread. 8-0 against the spread. If you got a dog of 6 or more, you have won against the spread so far. Again, whenever it's around 9 or 10, it's hard to lay off that. I was like, it's the Raiders. I'm not even taking the Raiders at 9. I figured Baltimore was going to be very angry about losing the opener at Arrowhead and have a little something ready to go for the Raiders, who did not appoint themselves well in Los Angeles against the Chargers. Congratulations to the Raiders. I hope that's not the high watermark of your entire season. The New York Giants are a little bit of a mess, and if you don't believe me, just listen to this to have it proven. The New York Giants became the first team in NFL history to score 3 touchdowns, allow 0 touchdowns, and yet still lose in regulation. The Commanders won 21-18. The Giants lost their kicker early in the game, so they didn't have field goals, and the other kicker connects for 7 field goals. 21 points on 7 field goals gets you beat while you scored 3 touchdowns, allowed 0 touchdowns, and you lose in regulation. It's the first time in NFL history that's ever happened. That's a bad beat right there. The Saints watched Alvin Kamara go absolutely bonkers in Dallas. Huge plays, 4-touchdown day for Kamara. New Orleans, they hung it on the Cowboys hard, 44-19. Let me just say this about the Raiders, too, who walked away from Derek Carr saying it's just time. It's just time. It's time to walk away. And Derek Carr, last season in New Orleans was not impressive. He's off to the 7th best start in terms of quarterback rating in the last 40 years through 2 weeks. Derek Carr in the first 2 weeks of this year has played some of the best football of his career. The Saints offense is humming like a wasp's hornet's nest or whatever. I mean, it's just buzz, it's buzzing, man. Saints got a chainsaw of an offense. They're just cutting through everybody. So Alvin Kamara's off to a monster start. Derek Carr is off to a really good start. And the Saints got Derek Carr through 2 weeks as a quarterback rating of 142.2. 142.4. Like, if you're playing the Saints, that can't happen. Speaking of that can't happen, if you are the Detroit Lions, you are not allowed to lose games in which Aiden Hutchinson has 5 sacks. He had 5 sacks all by himself, and Dan Campbell's confusion at the end of a half where he got caught in between having an offense and his special teams out on the field. So you got a penalty right there thrown. They now get knocked out of field goal range. And we're chasing more than just a field goal deficit in that second half where they were blown off the field twice at the end of the game. They turned the ball over on downs twice because a field goal here wouldn't be enough. Got to have a touchdown. Dan Campbell, he even admitted he screwed it up. He did. It's nice to hear a coach admit, yeah, I made a colossal mistake. Dan Campbell did. And on a day where his stud DN gets 5 sacks, they lose. That's brutal. That's brutal. I told you we'd start with a little rookie quarterback class and come back to end a little review with a rookie quarterback. Caleb Williams dropped back to pass the ball 37 times on Sunday Night Football. And of the 37 dropbacks, Caleb Williams was pressured 36 times. Is that a record? Has anyone ever been pressured on all but one of their dropbacks when they've had more than 35 dropbacks? He was pressured on 36 of 37 dropbacks. It's one of the most insane failures of offensive line protection in NFL history. It really is. The Houston Texans didn't even play well last night, but because the Bears just couldn't get anything going offensively, they didn't have to play particularly well to beat the Chicago Bears, who, honestly, were still in that game late in it. They were looking at a possible go-ahead drive late in the game, but it was not meant to be, and you didn't have much confidence in it actually happening because of just how bad Caleb Williams has been here at the dawn of his career. Frustrating. Wait a minute. Hold on. I gotta correct. I just saw this. Michael Diaz saying, Damon, with all the boasting Caleb Williams was doing before the season, I'm kind of glad to see him. Oh, I thought you meant I was boasting about Caleb Williams. You never heard me boast about Caleb Williams, not once. Caleb Williams, like any Bears quarterback, gets put in the show it to me before I believe in it. I am a doubting Thomas on every moment of Bears quarterbacking play. I don't care what pedigree you come from, what draft pick you come from. I don't care. You know who didn't throw a particularly decent game yesterday, but his team won? Justin Fields. Justin Fields isn't very good, but I don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be much better. I don't know. Even though Russ was unavailable, I still think he got a game ball because they beat the Broncos. The Steelers did. It was such a weird football weekend, a frustrating NFL Sunday. After the single greatest, and I really mean it, single greatest college football Saturday I've ever had in my life, went to the Rose Bowl, had a great time, hung out with a couple of my best friends in the world, Tom Ackerman and GQ. Unfortunately, more of our friends couldn't make it out there. It was awesome. The Rose Bowl. No notes. Like, it's perfect. Rose Bowl is every bit as beautiful as it was promised to be. The San Gabriel Mountains. Coming over the crest of that stadium, freaking gorgeous. Just the drive in through Pasadena, all those mansions leading to the Rose Bowl. It is awesome. It's awesome. UCLA cheerleaders. No notes. Indiana had the better football team. We did not win the cheerleading competition. That was UCLA's day all day. All day, every day, UCLA. Pretty impressive. It was such a fun day. We got down on the field. It was just great. Thanks so much to Jans, who runs the Rose Bowl. I was put in touch with a guy named Jans who used to work for the Giants, with the guy who works for the Giants, who said, Damon, I know the guy who runs the Rose Bowl. Do you think you might want that bit of information? He took us into the old locker room, which they don't even use anymore. He took us into the old locker room where, Newt Rockney gave his famous, we're going to get them, boys, that Rudy does the impression of, and he stands up and, we're going to beat them, and we're going to get them, and we're going to go, was in that room. That was pretty cool. Got some cool behind-the-scenes access, got led down to the field. It was just an awesome day. Frickin' Rose Bowl, baby. And the Hoosiers come out and smack that ass. I was sitting around from UCLA fans, and I was just like, look, welcome to the Big Ten. Wait until you meet the Ohio State Buckeyes. If you like us, you're going to love them. Oh, my God. Such a great day. Such a great day. And there you go. A frustrating day. A very, very frustrating day for 49er fans. At least you got Ilio Ramos's Oppo Field splash hit, which I really mean it. It feels like the opposite field splash hit and the first in the history of that ballpark at 24 Willie Mays Plaza might be the single most noteworthy thing that happened during the entire 2024 Giants season. And that's how bad the season has been. That's how bad the season has been. Michael Diaz says, knowing how favored the Chiefs are, would you like to see San Francisco versus Kansas City again? I don't want to see Kansas City in the Super Bowl again. Don't like having to worry about officiating. Let me just say this. If you can meet any other football team in the world but the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, pick that other team. Pick that other team. Michael, yeah. Dude, you're living in the Chiefs era. You are living in the Chiefs era right now. So, yeah, you would probably want to avoid a team of destiny trying to win its third straight Super Bowl. Even though it's never happened, you wouldn't want to be the team. How about this? You do not want to be the team that gets beaten in back-to-back Super Bowls and a third consecutive Super Bowl by one Chiefs team. I mean, that's just, you don't want to go 0-3. And how about this? Under no circumstances do you want to lose a Super Bowl. Under no circumstance, even less circumstances, would the Niners like to lose another Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll grant you that. All day long. That's easy. That's a full pass. Full pass. Walk away. Walk away right there. Like anybody else. Anybody else. Look at Chef A. Saying, would you please go ahead and you pound that like button?
Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it.
Thank you, Chef A. I appreciate that. I mean, on Saturday, I was... Maximum And then on Sunday, the Niners dropped their version of Womp Womp. Wasn't good. Any other team, Cowboys, for all the marbles, trophies, well, the Niners cannot meet the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'll tell you what, I'd love to see the Cowboys. And I think the 49ers would kick the Cowboys' ass. They're just a more physical, nastier, better football team than the Dallas Cowboys. Straight up. Shall we get historic? Shall we end today's show with just a little bit of history for you? I did see one TV note. I think more than anyone, I appreciate putting historical notes of television history into my history lessons here. And this is historic. We need to share this one. So today, Monday, September 16th, in 1984, we met Crockett and Tubbs. Miami Vice debuted today in 1984. It ran for 5 seasons, a total of 112 episodes, and the pastel shirt under a white sport coat fashion phenomenon was so thoroughly born and the market cornered by Miami Vice. If you see anybody wearing a pastel-colored shirt under a white sport coat, there will be a Don Johnson joke within the first 5 minutes of seeing it forever. That is the Miami Vice look. And Miami Vice was a good show. Miami Vice was a good show. I mean, they dealt. So in 1984, I'm 9 years old and I'm watching Miami Vice. Probably not a show for a 9-year-old, but I would watch it and I would think, man, Miami is sexy and dangerous. And I want to be an undercover cop who gets to do cocaine and ride in a Ferrari and shoot the bad guys and get the girls. And that just looks awesome. Like being an undercover cop in Miami has got to be the best job in the world. Maybe that was that show's, failure. It got 9-year-olds excited about cocaine. And yes, of course, it all does come around to Julia Gulia, Rockin' New Era 84. Julia Gulia? Oh, wedding singer jokes. We got them. What else happened today in history? How about anything more significant than Miami Vice, which is a big part of American culture? Yeah, I do have 2 other things that played a larger part in forming American culture as we know it. If you want to talk about the only art form, because it can be debated. A lot of art forms can be debated. Where did that come from? Who originated it? What did the... There are 2 true American art forms in the art of music: the blues and jazz. Well, the single greatest bluesman of all time, B.B. King, was born today in 1922. And if that's not historic, I don't know what is. Because B.B. King, I don't care who you are, who you liked, what kind of music they played. I'm talking about from the Beatles to Black Sabbath to Led Zeppelin to Eric Clapton to Jimi Hendrix to everyone. Your favorite late 60s rock guitarist worshipped at the altar of B.B. King. Worshipped at the altar of B.B. King. Chances are, if you're a fan of the blues, you chose to be a fan of the blues because you were listening to B.B. King. He unfortunately is no longer with us. He died in 2015, but there aren't many more. There aren't many more American musical figures who had more impact on their genre of music than B.B. King had on the blues. So there you go. That's significant. I told you there was one other moment of significance today. Today, on September 16th, all the way back in 1620, English colonialists aboard the Mayflower, they set sail for America. They were coming originally they hoped to be in the Hudson, New York region? Well, they went a little north of where they wanted to go and they found themselves in Plymouth. Okay, so now you're in Massachusetts and you got 41 dudes who are getting off the Mayflower. And before they get off the Mayflower, two guys, one named William Bradford, the other named Miles Standish, said, wait a minute. Before we take land, before we get off this boat, we need to agree on some shit. Well, what should we agree on? What should we agree on before we even go? Well, let's agree that any law we decide to pass will be followed by everybody. We agree? Agree? You agree to that? You agree to that? I agree to that. You agree to that? We are not going to land and start like stabbing each other because I want this piece of land. No, I want this piece of land. Like we're going to do it in a gentlemanly kind of way. I mean, if we meet anybody in the forest, we are going to be all over them, right? We're going to be all over them. Damon's a history teacher. I love history. If I had to teach a subject, it would be history without a doubt. History or social studies, which is kind of the same, right? Today, in 1620, the Mayflower Compact was signed. The Mayflower Compact is kind of the first version of the Constitution that we had. 50 days to the election. So I thought I'd drop that on you. You can't get more historic in America than the Mayflower Compact. And that's where we end today's show. That's where we end today's show. Thank you. Again, should have been a history teacher. SG Sports Talk, thank you for being a member of the initiated. Thanks to all of you for being a part of today's show. Thank you again to my sponsors. The one, the only, the greatest sandwich there ever was, a sandwich from Ike's, the best, absolute best sandwiches. Get yourself to Ike's today. Download that app and remember, between now and October 5th, use that SAT promo code and you will get $3 off your sandwiches on Saturdays only. And unfortunately, not in Santa Rosa, San Mateo, or Redwood City, but everywhere else, you can save on a Saturday at Ike's. But don't wait. Get yourself a sandwich today. Make it a Damon Bruce. You'll be happy that you did. Make sure that next pint of Guinness, that next shot of JMO, that next beer you're going to tip back, that next cocktail, make sure you get it from our good friends at the Dubliner West Portal. And when you go in there, say, Kenny, Damon told me to say hi. Kenny, are you here? Kenny will be like, yeah, I'm over here. And they'll take great care of you. They'll take great care of you at the Dubliner. I promise you that. Let me tell you about the helmet that's behind me. Well, wait, let me move my head the other way. Let me see how television works. I'd be terrible at it. But there you go. See that sexy helmet sitting right there? Go to the link in the description of this live stream. Go to the link in the description of this live stream. It is greengridiron.com. Every single NFL helmet that you could ever want, either a mini version, a replica version, or a $1,000, this could be worn in a game version, they have those for you. It is the most customizable souvenir shop you will ever see. Every single team in college, every single NFL team, and your own logo, your own brand, your own company. Wait until you see the customizable options, from the helmet to the graphics, to the face mask, to the face shield, to the chin strap. Go to greengridiron.com. And if you are going to do business at greengridiron.com, make sure you go through the link in the description of this video and use code BRUCE at the end when you're checking out, and you will save money. And the truth is, you've made so much money with your betting savvy that the next time you want to start laying down some bets, make sure you use our partner powering this live stream, our good friends at BetUS. They're now offering 150% on the first 3 deposits, bonus match, up to $2,000 by using promo code YouTube150. Go to BetUS, use promo code YouTube150. You'll be very, very happy that you did. I hope that you will be happy to check out Wake Up, the videos that we've been offering. Again, the channel has been growing very well this past weekend. I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for helping that and help this show right here grow. Hit like and subscribe on the way out, please, and thank you. Memberships, as always, available. Thanks to all of the super chats that came in today. You are my kind of people. Thank you very, very much for tuning in, and please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.